And now if I go back, I break your leg.
You're gonna break my leg, I feel it,
yeah.
for sure. All right, guys, I'm here on the mats with Caio Terra. Caio, thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me here. So we've been doing this thing recently where we've been really diving deep on some very kind of legendary, very specific moves, and I thought it would be a great idea to talk to you about this move, the Caio Terra Footlock. It is a move that has some legend behind it. I feel like it has some lore behind it a little bit. I'm hoping you can shed some light on it for us, but just a quick little story. First time I actually ever met you, I was a blue belt. It was right here in Austin, and I went to a seminar in Austin. I was a blue belt, and I learned an incredible amount, but one of the things that happened while I was there is the guy asked a question, and he asked for you to teach the Caio Terra Footlock. And you said, there's not enough time today for us to teach you the Caio Terra Footlock. But that was really the first introduction for me for this kind of mythical move, and I was very intrigued by it, and of course I went home and looked up on YouTube and everything like that, what's the Caio Terra Footlock? So this, like I said, I think this move does have a little bit of lore, and it's named after you. Where does this move come from? When was the first kernel of this technique that you spurned?
Well, so it's a little bit complicated to talk about something that is so complex,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
But the ankle lock from the De La Riva, it is a very strong technique, but I don't use it as a technique. I use it more as a position, you know? Because a lot of people try to figure out, how can I do this, you know? And sometimes they get it or get close to it, you know, and point that they can actually use it, right? But doesn't mean that it's correct, because every time you're forcing a technique, you're giving something to your opponent as well, you know? So yeah, I think the most important is for them to find out why I use it, you know? And then, you know, for them to understand that it's not just a technique. It's more as a position, you know? So just like there is, you know, underhook De La Riva, you know, there's De La Riva, you know, you can be holding the belt on the De La Riva, you might be holding the pants, you know, there are multiple styles of De La Riva. There's also the ankle lock on the De La Riva, you know? So for each scenario, you know, whatever he's going to give me is what I will take, you know? So I can show you a little bit. It might be easier to explain like that.
Okay, absolutely, yeah.
You know, so the thing is, you know, even with you, you know, like you're a tall guy, so let's just go to the side. Yeah, okay. Perfect. So if I have the belt grip, you know, I mean the collar grip, then I want to make sure that I'm holding your ankle and I'm holding your belt, I mean your collar, and I'm tied to you, and I can play from this position, right? At the moment that, for example, some guys are very strong and they're able to walk with the foot a little bit to the side, yes, and opening the knee at the same time. So this open the knee, yes, and walk with the foot higher. Yes, so at this point, actually it's better if I do it to you so you can feel. Look, so a lot of the times the guys like this, right? Boom. No, but if I'm holding the pants, that would be a different kind of De La Riva. You see, so hold the pants here.
Hold the pants?
Yes. If you're holding the pants, then your hook is dead, right?
Okay.
So in this case, people who holds the pants, they play like this. Because they don't play with the De La Riva hook. You see, like Leandro Low or Cobrinha, you know, they're going to play like this. Because they, you know, this is a different style. Now it doesn't matter if I push, because you're always applying pressure on my knee. Gotcha. You understand?
Gotcha.
But for example, you hold like this and then you have my heel, right? Because you have a nice and tight collar grip. But I start walking with my foot, look, and my knee open and wide. Now can you put the hook?
I can't.
Now you cannot put that hook, right? So then, but look at this, you can easily underhook my leg. So underhook, yes. And now look at your elbow joint, it's connected to my heel. So it's hard for me to do anything. Now, if you try to do this from here, now underhook my leg, it's very hard. And even if you do it, the elbow joint is not there. So, by the time that you're doing this, I'm also getting out. So you have to do things that I give to you. I'm not giving you the underhook De La Riva right now. Now I am. You understand?
Yeah.
But so if I break this grip by walking the leg, I'm giving you something, right? What about if I do this here? So I break your grip. Perfect. You hold my belt. Exactly.
Gotcha.
Understand?
Yep.
And then I go and try to pass you, right? So you go with grip. Yes, and now I'm trying to pass you here. Now you hold my, you can hold my collar again.
come back.
Right? You can come back. So you can play again back here,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I break, and then what do?
Come back.
Hold my belt. Now, yes. Look what you're doing. Look what you're doing. Exactly.
Hugging them.
Naturally, you're hugging my leg. Naturally. The only difference is I don't hug the leg like that. I go for the footlock.
You go for the footlock. I mean,
because I give it to you. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's why I started playing with it, because a lot of the times I can't just stay like this. You know, this is a position that a lot of people say they stay like this. But a big guy is gonna start defeating me. You know, they're gonna start blocking
your hand up,
the hand on the belt or in the collar, and then they're gonna start controlling me, and it might end up bad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, so the moment that I'm like this, boom, and then you break, and I feel that I cannot do this. Then look at this. I'm right on your ankle.
Yes.
And it's super connected.
Yeah.
You understand?
I can feel it already.
But did you see it was a very fast motion? Look how my hips is into you.
Mm-hmm.
But all motions are in one. So I'm here, look, are in 1 second, in the same second. So we're like this. I think the other way is gonna be better. Yeah, but sure, we can do it from here. So you break the grip, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're breaking the grip, boom. And then you're posturing tall, and that's why I'm gonna be so much easier for me to do. So the moment that you're there, my foot is on your hips,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring myself close, and I'm gonna bring my elbow joint to your heel. The only thing right now, Reed, is that you're 90 degrees to me, so I can still reach your belt, because every time you're like this, you never wanna be in De La Riva like this.
Okay.
You see, I can't block you because I can't see, because I can block you here, but how can I block you like this?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to always be facing your opponent.
Square up.
You see?
Yeah. Okay.
So I always want to be like this. And that will give you the De La Riva footlock better. Because if I'm like this, I still am going to grab on your belt.
Yeah.
Exactly, because it's hard for me to block like this. I can block only in the front.
Gotcha.
You know? So I want it to be the most realistic possible, you know, like the guy's breaking, boom, and then he's like this, yes. And the moment that you're like this, I'm gonna use my foot on the hips, and I'm gonna raise my hips up as my elbow joint goes to the back of your, see how it's not here, it's my whole elbow joint. And now I'm gonna take my De La Riva hook out and push my foot in. Look how I raise. Now I'm gonna bend my wrist. And as my wrist comes down, as my hips comes down, my wrist pops up. But you see, there's still a lot of space here.
Yeah,
there was no space when I did it, because I immediately hooked your leg, because I can't stay like this, because I don't have any protection, so you can drag my leg. So I'm gonna hide my leg inside, and I'm gonna use my elbow joint to connect my hips to your hip. Now there's no space.
Yep.
The problem is a lot of people do like this. They always do with space, and they say that their wrists hurt, but my wrist is never here. My wrist is never here. My wrist is always inside. Look at this. It never hurts me, because it's always deep. But people are like this, you see. And then from this position, then there's a billion attacks, and that's the difference. People just try to But if it doesn't work, now it's gonna work something for you, because there are many movements that you can do. You can push my leg, boom. You can be holding my collar with this hand, yes. Or you can be holding with my collar with the other hand. Yes, you might be giving me this leg, or you might be keeping the leg away. You see?
Yep.
And from the leg away, look at this. I have to go to my side, and now your foot is not on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And if your foot is not on the floor, when I push you, you fall. But when you fall, the same thing keeps on going. I can't just try to tap you, because you might come up on top. Like this, it might be hard, look, because your knee's open to the side, but you can rotate your leg inside. And now you can come up easy. Yes.
Gotcha.
So the moment that I'm like this, look, the moment you fall, look, I hold. Now come up on top.
I need to get a base on it first. Yeah.
So then I can go back, look at this. And now I can place the De La Riva hook. Because if I'm like this, look, how can I place the De La Riva hook?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, how you get the foot underneath there.
But if I go back, look, now my De La Riva hook goes back in. And now if I go back, I break your leg.
You're gonna break my leg, I feel it, for sure. Wow.
But there are a billion variations from there.
Mm-hmm.
Like so many that you cannot,
And it's all situational, what your opponent gives you, whether it's left or right or up or down.
Exactly. Whatever they give to me is what I'm going to take. And sometimes you have to go back to De La Riva because sometimes that's what they're giving to you. But you're never going back to De La Riva the same way as you started. You're getting deeper this time. You understand? And they might turn their knee. There's so many different situations, and each situation, it helps you as long as you understand the position. Because like I said, I use this as a position and not just a technique, you know?
Let me ask you, why do you think this became such a popular technique, or people became so curious about this technique?
I think people start getting it because, you know, they see, okay, I can try to do it. And then they try in training, and like I said, there are many reactions from your opponent, right? But what are the reactions? Open the leg, underhook, breaking the grip, ankle lock, because let's say the ankle lock is always there, as long as they don't regrip. You know, you should go to the belt because that's what they're giving you. But let's say that, but you still can go to the ankle lock. You can skip that step. But there are like three main reactions there that you can be using, right? And so every one out of three, you can still do it. So they might be doing it at the wrong time and not working. But on those three, you know, on that one time out of three that the guy is posturing and breaking the grip, it will be working. So they are like, okay, I can get this technique. But it's not like that, because you have to make sure that you either always get to the position, you know, or you don't do it, because it's risky to try and do something in the wrong time. The problem is that a lot of people want to know how to do it, and they actually should be thinking, why do they do it? You know, because if they can understand it, then they will be able to play. But if they just mimic, it will only work sometimes, you know?
There's no better feeling than getting a tap, right? It's kind of a curse sometimes, because not always works the best way, but if you get the tap, hey, right? So maybe that's why getting a tap is sometimes it can be addicting.
Of course, and it's a technique that when they do it, they're like proud of themselves, because it's not something easy to do. You know. But again, like the entrance is everything. A lot of people just scoot to the side and hold, but it's tight, but it will never be as tight as when I do it. You know. So that's why it's so important to study the technique and everything. And if they want to study more about it, they can go on my online school and study.
You know? What's it called?
CaioTerra.com.
CaioTerra.com, of course, and that's where you can learn a lot more about this. You encourage people to learn more about this technique. It's an effective technique for you.
If there's something that they like to do, yes, of course. My online training doesn't have only that, but you know, this is something that I have, you know, almost 50 videos on it, you know, so yeah, I think that it's a very strong position. You know, I encourage people to learn Jiu-Jitsu, you know, and this is a part of Jiu-Jitsu, you know, and if they want to get better, you know, I'm sure that if they learn this, it will make them better.
Have you ever seen anybody do it effectively?
I have seen many people doing it, but not as well as I did yet, because people are just trying to figure out themselves. You know, and I think they should just study a little bit, you know, get some of the ideas, and then after digesting those ideas, they can put it out there. But you know, I have seen like Craig Jones doing it, I have seen Keenan doing it, you know, and they have gotten submissions, but you know, doesn't mean that they can make the position even tighter.
Well, I know I learned a lot. You didn't even do it. I can feel it in my leg here a little bit. Like, man, I was close. But thanks so much, Kyle, for giving us a little insight into this kind of secret technique. I really, really appreciate it. Hearing it from your mouth, too. It's been great. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle.